I hope you're doing great, Sam. My name is Deja from Trigger Trade Music. And first of all, I'd like to thank you and your team for letting me do this interview.
Oh, of
So,
course. Thank you for having me.
after your show at Galera in Mexico City back in September of 2019, I guess, yeah,
Hmm.
almost a year and a half ago,
Uh-huh.
who would have thought that this pandemic was going to happen like half a year after that, right?
Yeah.
Luckily for us, you started creating new music, so it wasn't that bad at the end.
Thank you. It's,
Not
you
to mention, you featured some killer artists like Brian, Chanel Tres, Robin, Lucky Tate, Nile Rodgers.
yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that, shall
Yeah.
we?
Let's do it.
So, how was your creative process to write and compose this album, like music and lyric wise, while staying in lockdown?
So I was quite lucky in that a lot of the album and the songwriting had been done before the pandemic really hit. So, over the year before the pandemic, I'd been like, writing and writing these songs with people. And there was only two songs on the album that weren't written before the pandemic hit. But once lockdown happened, I spent there was a huge amount of finishing to do, because like all the production and all the like mixing and I work alone a lot, um, so there was a huge amount of work to do, and I just really one of the few good things about the pandemic was all of a sudden I had a lot of free time to to finish the record. So I spent a lot of time sort of locked away and just really getting into the details of the record.
Okay, so did you come up with everything, or any of the featured artists helped?
So every time there's like a feature artist, it's a collaboration. So it's really working together in the studio, and it's like a two-way thing. But then there's other songs that are kind of more singular and more just me working by myself. But I love to collaborate and I love writing with people because that process is just such uh, a beautiful one.
That's pretty nice. Where did the name of the album come from? And what can we find in it?
The name of the album, Times, is basically it's just a reflection on the idea that time is finite and that the experiences and moments that we have and the things that we previously took for granted. I think that last year has shown us that these moments and opportunities may never come again. There may never be another festival, there may never be another opportunity to dance in a nightclub. We Before, I would always presume that these things would be there tomorrow, but so the central message of time is just that given the opportunity to celebrate life and to experience music in a live situation with friends that you love and music that you love, that we have to make the most of these times and these moments and to live them to the fullest.
Okay. And what can we find in this album? Like, I'm talking about sounds or musical references or.
Yeah, there's so I read a book called Love Saves the Day by Tim Lawrence, and it's basically a study of 70s New York and the birth of disco. And I basically read about how disco music was the soundtrack to these safe spaces and these clubs where inclusivity and people from different walks of life, different sexualities and different races came together and celebrated their identities and were themselves in these environments. And that was hugely inspiring to me. I thought that was a beautiful thing for music to be able to do. So therefore, the music from that era became a huge influence in everything that I was doing, and I think a lot of 70s New York kind of music made its way into the sound of the album.
Okay. How did you choose who you wanted to collaborate with?
Um, the only criteria for who I collaborate with is just people that I'm a fan of. I listen to so much music and I'm such a fan of music before I am a maker of music that it was just a case of being like, well, I really like this person and I think I could do something cool. So hopefully, if I hit them up, then maybe they're going to be down to work together.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. If Times was a person, what its personality would be like?
They would just be spontaneous, they would just be someone that lives in the moment and someone that celebrates every little opportunity of life and a positive person, I think.
Okay. What does Nile Rodgers mean to you, and what influence does he have in your music?
Well, speaking about 70s New York and disco, Nile Rodgers is one of the godfathers of disco. He's like such a huge part of disco music. So to have this album be inspired by disco music, which is in turn Nile Rodgers, the whole album is inspired by Nile Rodgers. So then to have him be a part of the album is insane. It's very full circle, and it's very humbling because he's a legend and he's incredible.
Yeah. And I've been a little nosy and I've noticed that Lola is a pretty important piece of your life and your social media too. I mean, she has fans and everything.
Does.
So let us know how did Lola come to your life and which role does she play in your music?
So we've always had dogs in my family, but we did lockdown together. We're all older now, the sons, and we live in London and stuff. But for lockdown, we decided to spend lockdown together as a family because there was a lot of uncertainty in the world, and we're very close, and we wanted to be together. And we our old dog died probably 2.5 years ago, and RIP, bless his soul. But we hadn't had a dog for like 2 years, and we were so like bored in the first lockdown that we were just like, Dad, can we get a dog? So then we got Lola. She was a little puppy, and she's been like a huge kind of light in our lives. She's she doesn't listen to a word I say, and she doesn't she's very naughty, but she's incredible. But she yeah, she's not very impressed by my music, to be honest. She just kind of so yeah.
She doesn't care.
No, she doesn't. She only cares if I've got food in my hand.
Yeah. Okay, I need you to answer 4 more questions for me, but you gotta answer fast. So, what do you prefer, mezcal or beer?
Let's go.
Mexican beaches or European beaches, not to confuse with the other word.
Oh yeah, I was like, excuse me, Mexican.
Okay, and partying in Mexico or anywhere else in the world.
I think Mexico partying. You guys know how to party.
I know, I already knew that
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
you had a really great time the last time
You
you were
guys know
here.
how to drink some tequila, and I love my tequila.
So this is the last one. Tell me 3 underrated artists that you like and listen to and consider that they should be way more recognized.
Um, Bruno Major, I'm gonna say. Eloise, that's Eloise, and one more. Who deserves a lot more? I think maybe Salute. He's a DJ called Salute. He's from Austria, but he's really amazing. What's up, guys? This is SG Lewis. My new album Times is out, and I'd love you to come listen to it. So please check it out, and hopefully you enjoy.